3,000 years ago, in the heart of ancient Egypt, beauty was far more than skin deep. It was power, protection, and even a connection to the gods. Imagine a queen waking up in her golden palace as sunlight spills through the carved stone windows, glinting off her jewelry and reflecting on jars filled with strange powders and shimmering oils. She doesn't reach for modern makeup. Instead, she grinds precious stones like malachite and galena, mixing them with animal fat and honey to create colors that could mesmerize and command respect. Her eyeliner wasn't just for allure. It was believed to ward off evil spirits and shield her from the scorching desert sun. Her lips gleamed with crushed red ochre, symbolizing life and divine energy, while her skin glowed from secret oils and fragrant balms that no modern beauty brand can replicate. But here's the shocking part. Some of these luxurious ingredients were toxic, and the same makeup that made her look divine could slowly kill her. Still, she wore it proudly, believing beauty was her armor and legacy. This was the makeup ritual of a queen who ruled not just a kingdom, but time itself, a beauty routine so advanced, mysterious, and dangerous, it still leaves us speechless 3,000 years later. In ancient Egypt, beauty was not just admired, it was worshipped, and for queens, it was a divine duty to embody perfection. The royal beauty standard demanded symmetry: smooth golden brown skin, almond-shaped eyes outlined in black kohl, and lips tinted in shades of deep red that symbolized life and vitality. Queens like Nefertiti and Cleopatra weren't seen merely as women. They were living goddesses whose faces represented the harmony and balance of the universe, what Egyptians called Ma'at. Their beauty was crafted to project power, fertility, and immortality, a physical reflection of divine order. Every detail mattered: the arch of an eyebrow, the shimmer of their skin, the fragrance of their perfume. Each element carried spiritual and political meaning. They used makeup not only to enhance their features, but to communicate strength, purity, and the blessings of the gods. Their appearance was a silent language of authority, capable of commanding devotion and fear alike. To the ancient Egyptians, a flawless face was a sign of moral perfection, and the queen's beauty wasn't just admired, it was sacred, a divine mirror of eternity itself. The makeup of ancient Egyptian queens was a masterpiece of nature, crafted from rare minerals, precious oils, and sacred ingredients that blended science, art, and spirituality. Their eyeliner came from finely ground galena, a black lead ore mixed with animal fat or oil to form the iconic kohl that defined their eyes with bold, protective lines. They used green malachite powder for eyeshadow, symbolizing fertility and rebirth, its shimmer reflecting the power of the gods. For their lips and cheeks, red ochre was crushed into fine pigment and blended with beeswax or vegetable oil to create a deep, natural tint that glowed in the desert light. Perfumed oils extracted from moringa, almond, and lotus flowers kept their skin soft and radiant, while honey and milk were used as masks for a luminous complexion. Every tool had meaning and precision: bronze mirrors polished to perfection, reed sticks used as makeup brushes, and carved stone palettes where colors were mixed like sacred potions. They stored their cosmetics in ornate alabaster jars, often engraved with protective symbols or blessings to keep the wearer young and beautiful. These weren't just beauty products. They were a queen's armor, crafted with purpose, power, and magic, transforming her into a living embodiment of the divine. The secret behind the Egyptian queen's iconic kohl eyeliner was far more powerful than simple beauty. It was a blend of protection, spirituality, and allure that defined her very identity. Made from a mixture of galena and lead sulfide, the thick black pigment was ground into a fine powder and mixed with oils or animal fat to create a smooth, dark paste. With a delicate reed stick, the queen would trace bold lines around her almond-shaped eyes, extending them outward into a shape that mirrored the sacred eye of Horus, the ancient symbol of protection, healing, and divine vision. This was not just a cosmetic act, it was a ritual. The eyeliner shielded her eyes from the desert sun, reduced glare, and even acted as a natural disinfectant, preventing infections in the harsh, dusty climate. But beneath the practical benefits lay deep symbolism. The dark lines were believed to repel evil spirits and channel the blessings of the gods. When the queen's gaze met her reflection in a bronze mirror, her eyes didn't just shimmer. They carried power, mystery, and magic, commanding both devotion and fear. Every stroke of kohl was a spell of beauty and strength, turning her eyes into windows of divinity that could seduce, protect, and rule a kingdom all at once. The lip and cheek colors worn by ancient Egyptian queens were not merely cosmetics, they were symbols of life, vitality, and divine energy, crafted with sacred precision. To achieve their signature crimson glow, queens used finely ground red ochre mixed with water, oil, or animal fat, creating a rich pigment that brought warmth and power to their faces. Some formulas were intensified with crushed carmine beetles, producing a deep natural red that lasted for hours under the desert sun. This color wasn't chosen for vanity. Red represented blood, passion, and the eternal life force, a shade that connected the queen to both earthly beauty and spiritual strength. Applied with small reed sticks or fingertips, the pigment was spread across the lips and gently blended into the cheeks, giving a radiant flush that made her appear alive with divine essence. The glow symbolized fertility and vitality, echoing the goddess Hathor, the deity of love, beauty, and joy, whom the queens often sought to embody. To preserve softness and shine, they mixed their pigments with honey, beeswax, and fragrant oils, creating natural balms that nourished the skin while enhancing allure. Every touch of color was deliberate, a mark of sacred femininity and royal authority, turning a queen's face into a living canvas of power, beauty, and eternal charm. In ancient Egypt, makeup was far more than decoration. It was a sacred language of power, protection, and identity that reflected the divine order of the universe. Every stroke of color carried spiritual meaning, transforming the queen's face into a living symbol of the gods. The deep black kohl around her eyes represented the Eye of Horus, a powerful emblem of healing, protection, and divine sight, believed to shield her from evil spirits and bad fortune. The green malachite eyeshadow symbolized rebirth and fertility, connecting her to the eternal life of the Nile, while the red ochre on her lips and cheeks embodied passion, vitality, and the life force of blood itself. Makeup served as both armor and offering, armor against unseen forces, and an offering to the gods who granted her beauty, youth, and authority. Even the act of applying it was a ritual of transformation, a moment where the queen shifted from mortal woman to divine ruler. Her painted face became a mask of power, her gaze the reflection of cosmic balance. Through these sacred pigments, the queen didn't just enhance her features. She declared her role as the earthly embodiment of beauty, order, and immortality, her face shining as a symbol of harmony between humanity and the divine. Behind the dazzling beauty of ancient Egyptian queens lay a dark and dangerous truth. Many of the very ingredients that made them appear divine were slowly poisoning them. The black kohl that gave their eyes power and mystery often contained lead sulfide, which could seep into the skin and bloodstream, causing chronic illness, fatigue, and even death over time. Their dazzling green eyeshadow, made from crushed malachite, contained copper compounds that could irritate the eyes and damage vision, while some red pigments, rich in mercury or other toxic minerals, silently harmed their bodies with every use. Yet these queens continued their rituals without hesitation, believing that beauty was not a choice but a sacred duty, a symbol of status, purity, and divine favor. Pain and danger were acceptable prices to maintain their ethereal image. Some even saw the physical suffering as a form of spiritual purification, proof of their devotion to the gods of beauty and protection. Over centuries, these lethal cosmetics became part of royal legacy, preserved on the faces of mummies, still glimmering with traces of lead and copper, a haunting reminder that their pursuit of eternal allure came at a deadly cost. In their world, beauty was not just powerful, it was perilous, a seductive weapon that demanded both admiration and sacrifice.